So I've been avoiding this video for a long time, and I think the reason I've been avoiding it is because it scares me a little bit. AI headshots. The idea that somebody can upload a few selfies into an app and get back 50 professional headshots without ever stepping in front of a real camera. That threatens everything I've built over the last 15 plus years. So this video isn't gonna have a lot of flashy content. I'm not showing a bunch of stuff on the screen. It's gonna be more of a podcast style where I'm just gonna talk and share my thoughts. So if you need to go to work and put headphones in or listen to this as opposed to watching it, that's perfectly okay. But I think this take on AI headshots is important because it affects a lot of photographers. But there's another element to this that I think people aren't realizing yet. They will in the future, but I don't think they're realizing it yet. So this is a little bit of a unique take. For anyone that doesn't know me or what I do yet, my wife and I run one of the busiest headshot and branding studios in Los Angeles. We shoot with actors, creatives, professionals every single day. And for a while, I thought that if I just ignored AI headshots, maybe they wouldn't affect me. Maybe they would just be a fad. Maybe people would figure out on their own that they're not real. But they're not a fad, at least not yet. They're kind of everywhere. And I think it's time I actually say what I think about them, not as somebody who's necessarily scared of losing business. I don't think that'll happen, but as somebody who spent well over a decade photographing human beings and who knows what a real headshot actually does that AI never will. Here's the pitch, right? You've seen the ads. Upload 10 selfies, pick a style, get 50 studio quality headshots in under 5 minutes for 15 bucks. Maybe 30. Doesn't matter. It's a fraction of what a real session costs. And the results, they look pretty good at first glance. The lighting's clean, the background's smooth, your skin looks great, maybe a little too great at times. You look like a slightly better version of yourself, and for a second you think, why would I spend hundreds of dollars on a photographer when I can get this? I get it. I understand the appeal. Headshots, they can be expensive. The process can be intimidating, especially if you've never done it before. And so here's this technology promising to remove all of the stress around it. The cost, the nerves, the scheduling, the vulnerability of actually standing in front of somebody with a camera. It removes all of that. But here's what it also removes that nobody's talking about. Everything that actually matters. Let me just say the thing as plainly as I can. An AI headshot is not you. It was never you, it will never be you, it just kind of looks like you. And I don't mean that abstractly either, I mean it pretty dang literally. The image you get back from an AI headshot generator is a fabrication. It's a statistical guess at what you might look like if you were lit a certain way, in a certain outfit, with a certain expression on your face. But you never made that expression. You never wore that outfit in that light. Your eyes never connected with anything because you weren't there. It's a composite, a hallucination, a really convincing lie. And I think people feel that. Even if they can't articulate it yet, you get your AI headshots back and there's this moment where you look at them and go, that's cool, I guess. But there's no pride in it. There's no, oh my God, look at me. There's no calling your friend and saying, you gotta see these photos I just got. Because deep down, you know you didn't do anything. The algorithm did it. And no matter how photorealistic it gets, and it will get better, trust me, it'll get way better, you'll always know that's not you. Harsh words, but true. That was just never you in the moment. You never looked like that. You never performed like that. It's a facade. It's a safe place for someone who didn't want to do the real thing. But here's the thing, people don't enjoy showing off fake things. There's simply no pride in it. Nobody's putting an AI headshot on their wall and looking at them from years from now saying, I remember that day, because there was no day. There was no moment, there was nothing. And that's the part that kills me the most, honestly, because a headshot session or a branding session, like a real one, is an experience. Yeah, sure, it can be intimidating, you know, walking into a studio, standing in front of lights, having someone direct you and being vulnerable on camera, that's not easy, but it's supposed to be a little hard. And when you push through that, when you actually show up and connect with a camera and a skilled photographer pulls something out of you that you didn't even know was there, that's one of the most rewarding feelings you can have. Speaking for myself, I have headshots of myself from 2011, 2012, 2013, and I still love them. Not because they're technically perfect, though they're pretty darn good, but because they're actually me. That was me at that age. That was me at that stage of my life. That was me in that chapter. I did that. I showed up, I performed. And I have those photos forever as proof of who I was and what I looked like and how I carried myself at that exact moment in time. That's a timestamp on your life, and when you skip the process and let a computer generate your image for you, you don't get any of that. You get a file. That's it. I'm gonna speak to actor headshots for a minute because I shoot a lot of those too, and our headshots are largely responsible for putting a lot of the actors you see in your favorite shows and TV commercials in those shows and TV commercials. Now, if you're an actor, and a lot of my clients are actors, let's talk about what AI headshots actually do to your career, because this isn't just about my feelings toward it, this is about as practical as I can get. Casting directors are judging headshots based on your performance, not the photographer's performance, not the algorithm's performance, yours. So your ability to connect with a still camera, to say something with your eyes, to project a character or a feeling or an energy that draws a casting director in and makes them want to call you into the room, that's the entire point of a headshot. It's your audition before the audition. Now imagine a casting director is scrolling through submissions, they see your AI headshot, the lighting's perfect, the expression is compelling, and they call you in. You walk in the room and you can't deliver what the headshot promised, because the headshot wasn't your delivery. It was the computer's. And just like that, you just torpedoed your relationship with that casting director. And God forbid they figure out it was an AI-generated shot. Now your credibility is gone too. Not just for that role, possibly for good with that casting director. They want to know that the person who shows up in the room is the person in the shot, not a polished, optimized, artificially generated version of that person. They want the real you, because the entire job of an actor is to be real. And if you can't even be real in your headshot, what does that say about what you'll bring to set? But honestly, this isn't even just about headshots. This is about sort of everything right now. We are living in a world that is becoming more fake by the day. You scroll through your feed and you have to question whether the video you're watching is even real. I grew up in the 90s. I remember my mom's Nokia phone and playing Snake on that. The fact that we're looking at stuff today, questioning whether it's real, like you can't trust your eyes anymore. And that's a little scary. Think of this, you get an email and you can spot a ChatGPT response from a mile away. The multi-hyphenated words, the long M dashes, the spunky catchphrases, the perfect grammar, strategic bullet points, words like fluff and spiraling and chaotic, and phrases like moving the needle. Nobody talked like that before. Yet now it's sort of just everywhere. And here's the funniest and kind of the saddest part of it all. We've reached this point where ChatGPT and Claude and Grok, they're literally talking to themselves. Somebody emails you, you feed that into ChatGPT, you get a response, you send it. They get it, they feed it into ChatGPT, and then they send the ChatGPT response back to your ChatGPT response. It's ludicrous if you think about it. The algorithm is actually having a conversation with itself, and human beings have become the middlemen of it. We're just sort of the conduit now. Click, paste, send, click, paste, send. And in the middle of all that, the AI-generated ads, the AI-written emails, the AI-composed music, the deep fakes, the slop, people are starving for something that's real. Check this out. Merriam-Webster's word of the year was slop, specifically referring to low-quality AI-generated content. And this, the Association of National Advertisers chose authenticity as their word of the year. iHeartMedia launched a guaranteed human campaign because 90% of their listeners said they want content made by real people. Other big brands are running ad campaigns specifically emphasizing that no AI was used. So not using AI is sort of becoming the flex. And here's what I keep coming back to. People always say wedding photographers are immune to AI because obviously, nobody wants fake photos of their wedding. You want real images from a real day that actually happened. Those photos are tied to a memory and a feeling. But I think any photograph of a human being works the same way. A headshot is a real photograph of a real person in a real moment. And in 10 years, when AI is way more advanced than it is now, you'll look at that headshot and know that was me. I was there. I did that. You look at your AI headshot and you'll know that was never me. I never had that experience. I never looked that good. That's not me. Okay, I know I'm biased. I shoot headshots and branding shots for a living, but I've also been a photographer for over 15 years, and I've spent that entire time learning how to capture people, not to replicate them, but to capture who they actually are in front of a camera. And I genuinely believe there's no substitute for that. A photograph has your spirit in it. An AI image has none of that because it can't, because you were never there. So yeah, I'm a headshot photographer telling you to get real headshots. But I'm also a human being telling you that in a world that gets faker every single day, the most powerful thing that you can do is be real. If you're in LA and you want to book a session with us, the link's in the description. And if you're anywhere else in the world, find yourself a real photographer you trust and invest in yourself. You won't regret it. I can promise you that. Anyway, like this video if it resonated with you, and subscribe if you're new, because we talk photography every week. I'll catch you in the next one.